we've heard Hillary Clinton's campaign and all the horrible in-the-tank lefty journos scream about Russia messing with our elections. Chris Hayes didn't even want to talk about the WikiLeaks emails because he said, well, obviously this is someone wanting to influence our elections, and they're having that influence if we blah, 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 blah. Boy, Chris really gets nervous about revealing information about the powerful. He really does.
Well, I love when the corporate media, just going on that, like when the corporate media gets off on the whole, like, they want us to talk about WikiLeaks. Russia wants us to talk about this. I was like, oh, we were so focused on issues before.
Yeah.
Russia, we had such like quality discourse prior to this man, Russia really threw it off.
This is such a distraction from being outraged over grab a pussy. So here they got a audio of Hillary Clinton talking about interfering in a foreign election. So all this stuff about the Democrats are victims of a fight, and Hillary Clinton literally said she's going to have a military response to the cyber hacking, even though our spies do it all the time. The NSA all the time hacks other countries' emails and inserts themselves in their elections. What did we just do to Iraq? We just overthrew their government in Iraq, in Libya. We're trying to overthrow the government in Syria. We overthrew the government in Iran, which is why we got the theocracy there. We do this stuff all the time. Well, recently, here's Hillary Clinton on audio talking about an election in Palestine. Because don't forget, they are outraged. She wants a military response to the fact that she says Russia hacked the DNC's emails, which there's no proof of that. Here's her talking about a Palestinian election. Let's listen, shall we?
I do not think we should have pushed for an election in the Palestinian territories. I think that was a big mistake. And if we were going to push for an election, then we should have made sure that we did something to determine who was going to win.
Okay, I'll decipher that for you. Let's go through it slower. Okay, let's listen to what she's saying.
I do not think we should have pushed for an election in the Palestinian.
She says, I do not think we should have pushed for an election in Palestine. So she didn't want the Palestinians having an election. I don't think we should have had an election because as soon as they vote, they're going to pick someone who's not a puppet of us. And we only want other people to have democracy when it favors us. She goes on even further and says this.
I think that was a big mistake. And
she said, I think that was a big mistake. To let the Palestinians have democracy, actually express themselves at the ballot box, is a big mistake. You know, we're supposed to be the exporters of democracy. We're supposed to be the exporters of human rights. We're supposed to export our values, but those aren't our values anymore. Our values are serving money and power, and that's what Hillary Clinton is all about. And here she goes a little bit further.
If we were going to push for an election, then we should have made sure that we did something to determine who was going to win.
And if we were going to push for an election, then we should have did something to determine who was going to win.
Wait a minute.
She's going to have a military response to Russia hacking her emails at the DNC. There she is, right there. So whenever a politician feigns outrage that someone's emails got hacked or something, right there. I'm telling you, people in government, whenever they say something, you just have to automatically go, they're lying until proven otherwise. And here we go. Hillary Clinton feigning outrage over, it's all bull. Because here she can't wait to control other people's elections. And don't forget that America's been trying to control other people's elections forever. Forever. What did she do in Honduras? She overthrew a democratically elected government there. In favor of what? A right-wing strongman. So the United States does that all the time. We overthrow democratically elected governments to install a puppet who's friendly to a corporation in America. That's what our military does. That's what we're doing in Syria. This is all about money. This is all about fossil fuels. This has nothing to do with exporting democracy or saving people or helping anyone. This has got to do with money and fossil fuels and power. So I just thought that was great. Here's Hillary Clinton revealing that she only pays fealty to democracy. She does not really a big fan of it. And people need to, Ron was just talking about, Ron Placone is here, and he was just making the point of how hard it is to vote in California before the election day, early voting.
Yeah, early voting's not easy in this state, which was very surprising to me.
What do you have to do to early vote in California?
To early vote in California, it's open 2 weekends, and both weekends I happen to be out of town. And to go to vote during the week, you have to go to the main office in Norwalk, which is not the easiest place to get to from most parts of Los Angeles. Right. And yeah, you got to show up there between 8 and 5 to get your vote in, which, I lived in Tennessee prior to this, and early voting is much easier there. It's way easier. About half the polling places are open, so you're going to find one at least relatively close to you any day of the week.
Ron, I have a theory about that.
I want to hear it.
Okay, my theory is Russia.
So,
of course,
people need to understand that they don't want you to vote in America. That I'm sure if there's an audio tape somewhere of Hillary Clinton talking about suppressing the vote in America, because they did that in the primary. They didn't want independents voting in American primaries. That's why they closed all the polling places. That's why they knocked all those people off the voting rolls. That's why they have closed primaries.
That's why the corporate media was super honest about who was in the lead.
That's why the corporate media lied to you constantly about super delegates and the whole thing. So the American politics, the system is designed to suppress the vote, to make you feel powerless, to make you disinterested. That's why half the country doesn't vote, and people are still pissed off at people voting for an environmentalist who's not corrupted. But instead of going after half the country that doesn't vote, you're angry at the people who are the most interested and the most informed. So right here, we show right now the person they're voting for, not interested in democracy at all. At all.